Are these next level miniatures really next level? Let's find out. Hey there everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Next Level Miniatures Dragon's Hoard Volume 1. So I received this tiny box with a whole bunch of plastic baggies and a whole lot of miniatures in them. And to be honest, at first I was a little skeptical because they seemed tiny, as you can see in this picture right here. And I was like, okay, and there was so many mold lines, so much extra. I don't even know what they use. I think it's resin. I don't remember. I'd have to look on their Kickstarter page, but like extra pieces still on him. Some you had to build. You had to use super glue to be able to stick them together. It never said assembly required or possible assembly required. Anyways, we're going to take a look at some of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, and I'm going to show you the different base sizes coming up next. And you can judge for yourself if you think the quality of them or the look of them is comparable to other miniatures, or if you think this was a complete non-worth Kickstarter or thing to follow. They do already have, well, their second one has already ended, which is kind of funny. People are like, we didn't even get our first ones, and you're putting out a second one, and we're already hearing complaints about it. Anyways, I'm not going to start judging right away. I want you guys to take a look at them. We'll talk about each one. Let's move on now to the bases. All right, so the majority of the miniatures are set to be on 25 millimeter or 1 inch bases. So this is what this one looks like here. And frankly, this one actually overlapped it. Okay, so, and I ran out of small bases for their packages of small miniatures, which was kind of weird. But then I had 5 medium bases left. I ended up putting like something about this size on those medium bases, and it looked kind of weird, like kind of wonky. Like, why did they give me 5 extra medium? But they don't explain which ones are their small ones, which, well, they sort of do in like on the Kickstarter and all that. But I was just like, why in the world is the, anyways, so this is the 25. Now I do have to say though, their bases, like the actual plastic of the bases, amazing, and they're actually kind of heavy. They feel like a plastic coin. Yeah, so that is great. Okay, and again, you have to use super glue to be able to stick them to it. And I mean, you could do all your basing first if you want. I'm the type of person who likes to paint first, add my basing texture after, usually. But anyway, so this is the 25 millimeter. This is their medium base, which was 50 millimeters or 2 inches. And as you can see, the earth elemental here fits really nicely on it. Like, it's got enough room to be able to do lots of texture to it. Very flat bases, so there's absolutely nothing, no little curvatures on the inwards or anything like that. Just perfect little bases. I actually, like I said, I love these bases. Really nice job on that. Next Level Miniatures, you did great job on that. Okay, we're not gonna talk about the miniatures just yet. We're just talking about the bases. And then their final base is the large one, and this one is 80 millimeters or 3.1 inches. And you can see this guy here is a little off-centered. That's okay. I want to do that because I want him to be able to have a little bit more stuff in the front here. I find the base is a little big for this miniature. And you're gonna see a lot of them. I pretty much show you all the, well, most of the medium-sized ones. I'll show you their large one compared to other stuff, and the ones I'm gonna be comparing them to is actually from Blacklist Games, their Fantasy Series 1, which I'd also backed about approximately the same time, or a little bit, no, actually a little bit after this one, before this one, because they were really late in delivering it. Anyways, if you backed either of these, you'll know the issues with the Kickstarter campaigns. Anyways, so we're going to take a look at a few of them, starting with the smaller guys. I'm going to put them on rotating things here. You'll be able to compare from the Next Level Miniatures as well as the Blacklist Games Fantasy Series 1. And at some points too, I actually compare them to a Nolzur's as well as a Massive Darkness one from CMON Games. So stay tuned. We're going to keep moving on here. We're going to look at those next. Okay, so we're just going to quickly go through all the little miniatures. Now, this is only one version of each. There are some of the smaller ones and the medium ones. There are 5 of each. Well, not actually, no. The medium ones, there's only 1 of each. The heroes, there's only 1 of each. There's like a main villain style. But a lot of the smaller ones, there was like 5 of each. But I'm just showing you here, and you can see the different base sizes. Then we get to the large, and there's your large dragon. That is supposed to be a large dragon. We're going to get back to that soon enough, but you saw now the difference in the miniatures. Let's take a look at closer a few of them in comparison with other companies. So the first miniature we're going to look at is the Lich Sorcerer, who you can tell it has really nice details on it, but when you compare it to the Blacklist Games one, the size is a bit different, okay? Also the thickness of it, just the material they're using, but Blacklist Games also did a pretty good job on their miniatures, but all in all here, I think Blacklist wins it here. All right, the next one we're going to look at is the Dwarf Paladin. So I took what was similar from the Blacklist Fantasy Series 1. I'm pretty sure that's the Dwarf Paladin as well. You can see the casting on the Dwarf Paladin from Blacklist. There's a lot of like little scratches or like leftover pieces. And then the one from the next level miniatures is very clean, but again, a little tad smaller. So as we keep looking through some of the smaller miniatures here, so that fit on a 25mm base, we have a human barbarian here. Again, though, the details on the next level miniatures are quite awesome compared to the Blacklist ones. Now, the Blacklist ones, again, they're thicker quality, like they're bigger again. Same thing with this one. It's the werewolves with the wolves or the feral wolves. You can see the Blacklist one is much chunkier, a lot bigger, a little less details compared to the next level one, where you can see the skin and the muscles and all that. But this one you had to glue on the side legs, and it didn't fit well. It left a huge gap. I don't know if you noticed them there. Again, I don't understand why some of these had to be glued together. Like, they couldn't have just printed them out the way they were supposed to be. I don't understand that. These little gargoyles, are pretty much similar in size. Kind of like more the Fantasy Series ones compared to the next level ones. Now, here's a big difference with the werewolf. One of them, well, the one with the black base, so that's the next level one. You can see all the scratches from like the war torn and all that. And the other one has clothing on, like the Fantasy Series one. He's got a cloth, he's got a ripped shirt. But the muscles are more detailed in the next level miniatures one. And then if you look at the human cleric here, okay, it's what I thought was a human cleric from Blacklist miniatures. I didn't go through their list of what they actually had, and sorry about that fur that's sitting on there following them around. But again, look at the size comparison. This is a big one where you see the difference in the height. This next one, the Sadasak the Fallen, so he's like an enemy in their game, because this was not like the fantasy miniatures. This was like their game miniatures, and I found one of the Fantasy Series that was similar. You know, like a skull guy or a skeleton guy with a sword, sort of similar again. The zombies, okay, huge difference again in the height, the thickness, so the girth of the miniatures. You can see a lot of the mold lines though on the Fantasy Series one. A lot more details on the next level miniatures ones. So is size going to be a problem for people? Is it the quality of the miniatures? This one just completely blew my mind. This is supposed to be a giant spider. Even the Fantasy Series one isn't that giant. Now, I should have put the one from Massive Darkness by CMON Games on top of this one. These ones would have shadowed in that giant spider. All right, we're going to move on now to the next size of bases, which is the medium size one. Alright, so our first medium base is this Dangie the Killer Mimic. Okay, I had no clue this was a mimic. To me, it was like an ooze or a slime like the Fantasy Series one. A mimic to me is a chest or another inanimate object that has a creature kind of posing as it, like a changeling kind of thing. So that was a little weird for that one. Another one we have here is the Troll Hulk, or a troll. So I'm comparing that one to the Blacklist Games one. And again, there's quite a difference, not in the size, but in the details. Like, which one seems more like a troll, which one has better... Again, the next level one seems to have a little bit more details. Whereas we look at Orcus, Demon Prince of Undeath, that's the name of the miniature from next level, and I believe this was the Demon Prince from Fantasy Series. I think the one from the Fantasy Series line is a little bit better detailed and a little bit more like a Demon Prince. The other one looked more like a big fat gargoyle, to be honest. I don't know, it was weird. And here I'm tossing in a Nolzur's miniature, okay? This is an ogre. It was a zombie ogre, but I'm just comparing the ogres. Look at the difference in the size. Like, just so different. The next level miniatures, to me, that is not an ogre sized miniature. And look, the base, it just looks lost on it. Now we're moving into the elementals. This one because I have one for each from the Massive Darkness series from CMON Games. And this is the Earth Elemental. So you can see that the Blacklist one and the Next Level one are very, very similar. But the Next Level one has a little bit more details. The CMON one, of course, it's really like a monster that you're going to be fighting in a dungeon, right? So it's very different, especially now when we're looking at the Air Elemental. This looks like a person in the air for CMON. That's that weird looking miniature. The other two look almost identical, except for, of course, Fantasy Series or Blacklist Games went with a clear plastic. The other one just looks like a tornado gone crazy. It does have a bit of a face on it, but not much. The Fire Elemental is a little bit better here, but it looks more like, I thought it was the Earth Elemental at first because it looks more rocky. Okay, it could have some lava parts on it. Again, the Fantasy Series one with the clear plastic. CMON is just a really weird looking monster, but still really awesome for a Fire Elemental. Here, I think Fantasy Series brings it up. Now, the Water Elemental is the last one we're looking at. Again, look at CMON's Water Elemental. Like this, that's just nuts. The other two look very similar. The clear plastic just really does a good job on it. Again, the details on the Next Level miniatures, not great. Now here, the last thing we're going to look at is the large miniatures. Okay, so the large miniature, the one on the bottom left with the black base, is the one from Next Level Miniatures, and the other one is the huge miniature from Blacklist Fantasy Series. Okay, so the difference in scale is just mesmerizing. That dragon looks lost on that base. It looks more like a baby dragon, or what do they call it? I don't remember what they call the baby ones, but anyway, so, and the huge one, well, okay, it's huge, it's nice, but the details are a little off a bit. I like the details of the Next Level Miniatures one. It's very nice to look at. I'm sure it'll be nice to paint, but it's just that when they say large, you're expecting something more like the Fantasy Series one. To me, that would have been that. Plus, you have to build this one as well. It was in parts. The tail actually broke after, but at a nether spot. It was kind of weird. Anyways, I got it fixed and glued. But there you go. So let's have some final thoughts on these miniatures. So my final thoughts on these miniatures are pretty much, okay, they look tiny. They look flimsy. They're not very flimsy, though. I do have to say they bend well. They're malleable. They're okay. I doubt very much I'm going to back their second one just because it's, I don't know, I'm getting to the point where I was hoping to have these miniatures for D&D or for other tabletop games, but the fact that like you can get some from CMON, you can use other miniatures from board games and all that to get almost the same similar kind of characters. Blacklist really got them. I'm waiting for the Fantasy Series 2. You know, it's hard when you're a miniature painter and a collector. It's hard to see what you were looking for. I was looking for mostly D&D stuff. When I do play D&D, I have the miniatures for them. But like I said, Massive Darkness and other games from CMON, you can pretty much use their miniatures as well. So my verdict is, you know, if you've backed the first one and you didn't like them, let's comment. Please comment down below what you've done. Have you backed these miniatures or not? And what do you think of them when you received them? I'm talking about the Next Level miniatures, okay? Not the Fantasy Series stuff, just the Next Level miniatures. So what do you think of them? Are you going to use them? Do you want to see me paint a couple of them, like especially the ones where I compared them to the other ones and see like, okay, maybe I'll paint these two and see which one has a better detail. Slap chop, zenithal, regular, you know, and using speed paints and contrast paints. Anyway, so there you have it, folks. I'm not super keen on these miniatures. They're going to sit in the box probably. May end up selling them. Not sure yet, but they're there if you want cheap miniatures. I'm not kidding. I mean, your cheap miniatures, you get a, like, I don't remember how many you got, but for like almost $1 a miniature, which is not bad comparing to other companies out there. So if you're looking for that, I mean, there you have it, folks. Very cheap miniatures to be able to paint and test your painting skills on and to use for your tabletop games. I hope you enjoy these kind of review videos. Please hit that like button and comment down below if you would like to see me do some more commenting on stuff like this, or if you're interested in talking about board games, video games, miniatures, anything you want, you can join the Discord. That link is in the channel description or in the video description down below. I want to thank you guys for watching, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you all in the next one.